shortly. We'll start with Tamil Thai. Then we have KSA session by Satya. So then, before I requested all of you to stand up, so thank you for that. I'll just now play Tamil Thai.
Yes.
Check the volume.
No time to log in.
Okay. I think volume is.
Volume is. No, it's not.
No, I think it is routing to HDMI.
Then you only send.
Okay.
It's mobile.
Yeah.
I have it at play.
You have it?
You have it? Play please.
Thank you all. So the rest of the agenda is we'll have a cases when Satya will be talking about management of personal finances. Then we have a few updates from chapter. And then so before I welcome Dr. Satya, I would like to give a brief overview of his profile. Dr. Satya is an economist with a rare combination of experiences in investment management, banking, and academics. He has about 14 years of financial market experience and another 14 years in academic. He handles special courses on finance and economics to the management students working and executives. Further to this, he is also an investor and market analyst. He has great passion for sharing the knowledge to the related to the business environment, management, to the bidding investors, executives, and entrepreneurs. So I welcome Satya to take over the stage and share his knowledge and insights to us. And probably we'll pick up many tips and tactics which we really need in the financial situations as we are approaching the year end for 2023 financial year. Thank you.
Thank you. It's on. It's on. If you double tap, it will off. It will go.
Okay, being a professor, I'm used to speaking out like this and reaching out. Last,
And if you speak, then live streaming will be better in
Is
the
it?
mic, yeah. Because it is speaking from this microphone.
Okay, let me try to keep my volume a little
Yes,
less than.
thank you.
No, I'll use that. It's fine.
I'll help you.
Okay, sure. Thank you so much. So, thank you all for inviting me. And first things first, I am no mutual fund distributor, I'm not a broker, right? And most importantly, I don't give any tips on investments, right? So, tips on life, yes, you're ready to ask, I'll share. So why this topic? It's very close to me in the sense I used to work in ICICI Bank, ICICI Securities to be precise. That's the investment banking arm. Now it's little changed. What ICICI Securities you see as a listed company is a little different, but my time was different. So 2005 I left all that to do a PhD, and it was a full-time PhD. Most professors you would know, they would join an institution, teach along, and alongside they would do a PhD. That's the way it is done. So I was on a sabbatical for about 4.5 years, and I mean, at that particular time, my wife was not working, right? So, yeah, I should say that also. No? Now I'm like this because she also supports. So those years, of course, I was into investing much before that, which I'll share as the time goes by. I thought this is important. That's why I'm sharing this, that with one Excel sheet made much before, because 2005 January is when I left ICSA, and I had made my Excel sheet maybe about a year in advance. Okay, so the entire plan, nobody had taught me. I did it for myself because it was my decision to jump into academics. So I thought that I also had family to take care, and that's how it all began, and I've been continuing since then. So one is to share that aspect. Two is that coming from financial field, I mean the basics were perfectly in place, and there were also courses related to finance which I used to teach. I still teach. There's this particular topic itself is there for MBA kids. I mean, by the way, I teach MBA students. So, managing personal finance, there is a course also as such. So that, and otherwise, this professor's pay is much less. I mean, I hope you understand that, right? So I was telling my students, Rizwana happens to be one right now at Liba. So that's how the connection, and I'm here. She pulled me. So right now I'm a visiting professor, but even as a full-time professor, the pay, maximum pay, last pay I got was much less than the tax I paid in 2005. Right? So that is the idea here, which I'll have a slide also put up. Let me share it now. That you don't have to work for money, but it's also possible to make money work for you. Perfectly legal ways only. Right? So only that we are talking. We are not talking any hawala and out of the out of the books things. So that is where I come from, and then I'm happy to share in this knowledge sharing sessions that you have, that how one can be more effective. That's about it. I'm sure all of you are having families, and all of you have been dealing with finance in many ways. So that done, let me check who all invest in equity markets. Wow, that's quite a few. I meant investing and not trading. Now, investing, how many? That's also good numbers. Excellent. Okay, so I guess half my work is done. Let's see, then probably we'll have more of question answers. I will probably focus more on how we can, how we see financial literacy, the importance of financial literacy overall, right? So, even the richest person, if you ask, Jeff Bezos or Mr. Adani, they have tons of money, why don't they quit working, or do they have enough? And you'll find, especially from Mr. Adani, that it's not enough. That's why all his companies the debt debt to equity ratios is like anywhere from 8 times to 25 times to maybe even 40 times, right? So he doesn't seem to have enough. And ACC and Ambuja, he has bought, right? And how is he financing it? By pledging the shares in bank. Okay, so he's taking over a company, taking those shares directly to the bank, pledging them. I mean, great. So I don't, as such, really like that kind of an investment, right? Where it's highly leveraged. So Adani Group companies would have given some 2000% returns, few of them, in the last 2 years, but I don't, I've never touched, right? We'll see, why, how, and what matters. So, why I brought in Mr. Adani and Bezos is that everyone comes to this position, maybe personal wealth, I'm sure these people are really wealthy and they don't have this kind of a situation that somebody has moved the ends. How much ever we plan, how much ever we save, it comes to a point that it's not enough, right? It's general human tendency that we want more, needs and wants. So, and what economics says is that wants are unlimited. Yes, please. Thank you. So we're just trying to understand some, how we can be more effective with our financial planning. I will take you through how investments matter. It's not just that if I don't understand investments, I don't understand real estate, I don't understand equity markets, I don't invest at all. I just keep my money in savings bank, right? Is that good enough? Not really. We'll see why, and we'll have a brief look at how inflation eats into the returns that we supposedly make. Options for saving, I'm sure you would know many, but then I'll just maybe run through. But where I would be more interested in spending time today is power of compounding. Okay, so it's not that I have discovered, nothing is I have discovered from in this. As I said, I'm just sharing. I would have taken many bits and pieces from here and there, and some bit of my contribution I have just compiled it. Okay, so how does inflation eats into our income or wealth? I've just given a small demonstration. I don't know if you're able to see right from the back. I'll just help you here. If supposing you had 1 lakh rupee in 1984, you would be able to buy or consume goods and services worth 1 lakh. Okay? And as inflation reduces the value of our purchasing power, the general definition of inflation would be general price increase in the economy, of various goods and services. So price rises, the value of money decreases, and what we can buy, how much we can afford to buy goods and services keeps reducing. And 1 lakh in 1984, if you had just kept it, okay, it would be worth buying only 4,000 rupees worth of goods and services. That's the enormity, which we don't understand. Many of us we fail to understand because we take it for granted. Oh, no problem. RC give more, right? But why it is rising? Many reasons. I can understand that petrol, diesel, we have to import crude oil. 85% of oil that we use for our energy is imported. Gas may be about 45%. 55%, sorry, 45. Some gas is taken out from underneath earth in India itself. What about cooking oil? What's your idea? We all use, no? Chekki enna, Inde enna, original enna. Nothing is coming from here. Can you believe 56%, almost 60% of cooking oil is imported, right? So all that, let it be groundnut or sesame oil or sunflower oil, most of it is imported. And we all thought that only palm oil is Malaysian. Not like that. So, policy decisions, why government has not, doubling farmers' income, doubling GDP, all that is good for election manifesto. So, be that as it may, we as commoners, we are facing inflation. Okay. So what oil probably you will be buying for 80 rupees a liter today, or for 3 liters now it's like 500, 350, depending on the brand, isn't it? And then we are also thrown up with olive oil, good for health, only 200 rupees or 800 rupees. No? So it's not just that olive oil is imported, it's also the usual regular oil that we buy. And that is reducing the purchasing power or consuming power that we have. Now where does it come from? Income, right? So we'll try and understand about, is it the next slide please? So this is the idea here. What if we have a quick exercise and look at how we spend? Income, expenses, liabilities, assets. I'm not an accountant, I expect you not to be an accountant, but then we all do some bit of budgeting at home. So, is it alright if I ask you to spend maybe 5-10 minutes on taking on your notes in the...
Can you keep the mic clear? Online they are not able to hear.
They are not able to hear. There's no color mic. Do you have color mic? No. Okay. I don't know if I keep this color here, will it stand?
You want to stand here and speak?
That also I can do. Is it okay now? Better. Right, so let this color be here. So let's see if you can just mobiles, notes. If you have pen and paper, excellent. Professor no homework done class So see if you can come out with short term, I mean immediate thing that you see. This is my annual income, or if you have to multiply, or you want to, because monthly if we take, not everything comes out monthly, like the children's school fee or insurance, tax. So let's see if you can come up with the annual how. I'm not going to ask you anyone to share. It's all personal. It's up to you. Just to do a practical demo. So we find our income. We then try to jot down all our expenses and see how much it adds up to. Roughly, that we do every year. Monthly multiplied by 12. So you can have one column for monthly, one column for annual, and I'll give you some time. The other thing, if you have done already, then you can look at your assets. Assets, you can just fix some value. If it's your own home, some value to it, some gold, jewelry, equity, mutual fund, whatever you think you already invested, you're good at. And also one more column for the last row, last row will be for liabilities. Liabilities, like if you have a housing loan pending you are paying, or is it your kids' education loan, or any other kind of loan, car loan. Youngsters definitely will have your mobile loans. Easy EMIs. Yes.
Income, you should add active passive income, both we should include.
You can add, that's the whole point here, that my one income alone is not sufficient. Is it so? So that's the idea. We are trying to arrive at that whether I'm already very comfortable? Am I managing very well? If, if you are managing very well, what more can be done? Tell me if you are done, you can put up your hand. So, and maybe some kind of remark you can come up for yourself. That my liabilities seem to be more, my income seem to be less, my savings seem not so sufficient. Something like that you can come up for your own. How, what position you appear to be in. And then if you are done and if you have lots of savings, variety of savings, maybe you can also list out what's the kind of savings you have.
Asset, you can put the value of your home or something.
Yes, please. Your long-term asset, surely.
So home under the loan can be called asset or liability.
So that will be still a liability because you are paying EMI.
So,
One way pay in liability, one way.
And as an asset. So probably or net figure varo. Yeah.
loan minus value minus.
People in tani tani arendu pottanga parvala. Doesn't matter.
All this insurance policies, all that we put, that goes into liability.
Also has expenses.
Right.
Monthly expenses.
So insurance also you can put it as an asset, isn't it? What is the final value that you might be getting? Or if you have some pension plan which has not kicked in. See, it's very, very general. So if I sit with you, then take out, I'll be finding out what more, how, then, only then probably you might get into it deeper. But as of now, just a general thing and then a general remark for yourself you can come up with. And as I was saying, why it might, those who are doing can continue. Why it's becoming important is that all of these three ways it is increasing, isn't it? Life expectancy is increasing. We are expected to live longer, and then at the same time we can't be questioning our moms and dads whom we have to support now, isn't it? Or in-laws, as in my case, they are right now at home. So it's a duty. So we can't question. It's not just my life, but then I'm also taking care of the elders at home. That is something happening now. Aspirations have increased. No more that brick phones. You want 10,000, 15,000, 20,000,
Whatever is lying
1 lakh.
Whatever is lying in the PF also is taken as an asset.
Yeah, PF also you can take it as an asset. Yes, please. So you have, then you go out to buy a car, you think that okay, you'll buy an Alto, and then you end up buying a high-end, maybe an urban cruiser, what is it called?
SUV.
Yeah, some SUV from Maruti. Other you will not settle for lower end, one music system, at least air conditioner and airbags have become standard. In my days when I started buying, even that came as accessories. Then one music system, music system, put 8-inch, sir, adala 12-inch, bigger screen. And you keep going, then alloy wheel and this and that, then you end up with buying the top end. So, aspirations are increasing. Increasing uncertainties. Definitely, health insurance is one which I recommend to all. Yeah, I'll just finish 1 minute. So, the health insurance, I highly recommend that whether it doesn't happen good, but then have enough insurance. Yes, you might have your corporate insurance, company's group insurance policy, which is excellent. But then nowadays we all know that how we keep getting offers. Join here, 10% hike. Join us, 40% hike, isn't it? You never know which company when you will leave, or what kind of other uncertainties may come that this is not covered in this policy because this is group policy, and things like that can happen. One is that uncertainty. What else can we say? What other uncertainties do you find in life?
Then
for money.
expenses,
Sudden expenses like
medical emergency.
emergency. So emergency fund can be variety of emergencies. What are them?
Corona is another.
Corona itself is an uncertainty. Okay.
Flooding,
Flooding. Job.
Job loss.
Job loss. Right. I didn't want to say that. So, in these kind of tough times, we don't know. I mean, unless you've been following the economy and what's happening around in the globe very closely, we just don't know why some people are missing in the office suddenly. One gets to read, we feel sad that Twitter this many sacked or Byju's so many sacked. The one who goes through it will actually be having the effect. Yes, please. So, how do we handle is this three-pronged strategy: setting financial goals, spending wisely, and investing wisely. So, I'll just run you through them, and you can tell me if something else also you're doing. While setting financial goals, one has to be realistic. We may assume that I can get this loan or I will get that kind of a promotion, isn't it? Or this proportion of my dad's wealth, I can get. In India, I think that inheritance is a little different variety we deal with here. I'm sure at your workplace you do SMART goals, isn't it? SMART. So அதே SMART தான் போட்டிருக்கேன் in a different way. So all of you must be okay with this. But how far do we do it at home with our financial planning is the question here. At work, I'm sure you all do fantastic because you have a boss who is behind you all the time. But at home, maybe you leave it to your wife to do it. Most of us do. Many of us do. Or ad hoc, isn't it? Many times we end up taking ad hoc decisions. We have not planned well and we feel, oh, this has come suddenly. Right? So nowadays, even schools, you pay the fees, then suddenly they come up with some more additional things for the children. I personally did that. Last Saturday, today's Saturday, last Saturday was PTM, and they said some mail has come saying that this much is pending, some 17,000 more has to be given. I said, okay, take the checkbook if they're taking the check, or if they want cash, then carry the ATM card. So you can't say that, no, I didn't plan for this at all. It just lands up there and then it has to be done. Okay, so.
Here, one doubt is there.
Sure, please.
Financial goal can be one or multiple goals, or it can be a short term or long term, both you should keep.
Ideally, that's what we are looking at, that how do we develop long term goals while also looking at the short term needs and requirements. The next slide, if you see, possibly might help, which we are talking about. Yeah, I think that part, can you just wait for maybe a few minutes?
Yeah.
Will come out, it will emerge on its own. In size, can you increase from sir? Is it possible?
I think with
Great, thank you. So, this, like, again, you are all doing it in your jobs, so nothing greatly different, right? So, determine current financial situation, which we just did some small exercise, very small. Probably after going home, you can do a little more. You just Google this financial planning process, it will come out. Go to images and choose which one you want. I have not made this, I have just chosen it from Google. But then these are there in the text, very similar. Develop financial goals, identify alternate courses of action. This you are doing in your job, as I said. Evaluating alternatives. So this life situation is in the next slide, we'll just look at. Personal values, economic factors, assessing the risk. Time value of money, do we consider, this has to do with the first slide we saw on inflation. Time value of money. So we saw over time from 1984, how that 1 lakh rupee today has become 4,000 or maybe thereabouts. So that's time value of money. Value of money is lost over a period of time, and And here, in this session, we are looking how to counter that and make something better than that. That's the idea.
See your note, sir.
Yes,
Sir,
please.
can I read it in this way?
Mm.
In 1984, whatever we bought for 4,000, today we have to pay for 1 lakh for that.
Sure.
Can I take it that way?
Sure.
The gold came that time maybe 1 kg 4,000, maybe today 1 kg 1 lakh. That can be
Sure.
put in.
ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಅವ್ನು ನನಗೆ gold.
Example. No, but even if somebody getting 1 lakh today, it is 4,000 only.
கொஞ்சம் கம்மியா கொடுப்பாங்க. ஒரு 900 கிராம் கம்மியா கொடுப்பாங்க. Okay, so perfectly right, sir. That's the way, the other way. That's what this whole process is, upside down or no, top side bottom. So both ways you can look at it. So creating and implementing your financial plan. Why do I say this? No, it's very personal ultimately, isn't it? For example, I have friends who have invested in real estate and made many more tons of money. I have also known people who have invested in real estate and they just can't get out. I also know people who have invested in real estate and they have 9 more other claimants on the land. So I simply don't understand that risk, so I do not enter that area at all. So that's again my personal belief that a house is for living and I have one, I'm happy. So if there is another piece of land or another vacant house, let somebody else occupy and live there. But rental incomes are also good. So somebody who understands that market well and somebody who has invested 3, 4, 5 houses. I used to have an LIC agent gentleman used to live at the house on the ground floor. At that time itself, he used to have some 10, 12 houses. Okay, and then he made one in Perumpudi. There were 4 houses in this one plot. So excellent. So if you have a knack for that, please do. So understand the risks and then enter. So that's about the financial planning process and then reviewing. Nothing new. You're all doing at your jobs. I'm just asking you to do it for your personal finances as well. Yes, sir. We can go next. This is the key which in this current era that we live of consumerism, isn't it? So there was a time when we used to call US citizens as consumers. They keep changing cars, they keep changing washing machines, they keep changing many things, but then now we find that we are also there. Mobile is working fine, but then 6 months, 8 months, and then we want a new one. There will be very few of us amongst us here who might say my mobile is more than 2 years, isn't it? Or can we have a check? How many would say your mobile is more than 2 years old? Wow, old timers. I'm happy. I'm not the only one.
We all with you only.
Okay. Pasanga, வீட்ல?
No phones. No phones.
So here we are talking about we are financing their mobiles also. Yeah, their laptops also we are financing. And this COVID era, it has become much more. So it's not just, probably we are all doing that so that no, that's how I think it's running. So, because children can't be seen with anything old, dummy pieces, right? So, spending less than you earn for a very long period of time. Okay? So this was instilled by my father into all of us brothers, so I still continue. Many of us do that, I'm sure. But it so happens that if we don't plan well, we end up spending more. That's the idea. Budgeting for fixed expenses, budgeting for variable expenses. Probably when I sum it up, I will take you through a little more on that. So the spending, long term, short term, all that we are doing.
RD, FD. RD maybe small, short term for school fees. FD for long term for that, higher degree. And jewel is a long term.
Right. So
Emergency also.
Emergencies also, yes. Now we are in that situation. Do we also record and review these patterns? Very nice. That's good. Okay, sir. Then this determines how we spend and how actually we can save. What kind of age group that we fall in, I'm sure this might not be so clear. So life situation where we are, it influences our financial decisions, whether we are young, 18 to 24, just into the jobs, or we are in our mid-career, 45, 54. Now I put it this 18 to 44 as one category, maybe 34 should be good. 35 to 55 is another category. And then finally you realize that yes, no, I am going to retire physically somewhere up from 55 onwards, and 65 plus one does become a dependent. If we have not planned well, we might end up as a dependent, and then what we see at homes that we have elders at home, these people would have been mostly government servants. At that time, government provided pension. So my father was in the army, and he passed away long back. I mean, 2005 I quit ICSA, I was telling, so that was one of the reasons. 2004, I was there on his bedside and I said, enough is enough. It so also happened that I was working in Chennai earning Bombay salaries, so I had made up a decent saving. So, yeah, the point I was trying to make that what pension my mother gets, that is half pension, okay? Probably each month's pension is more than the annual salary he got in his last posting. Okay? So that's the way government takes care out of our taxpayers' money, don't worry. So we are all contributing to each other. And then the governments are planning for go back to old pension system and blah blah. I mean, if you are interested, you can read more on that. Now we do not have that luxury. So whatever government pension runs also, that is contributory, right? So as an employee, one has to contribute, and then equal amount the government contributes, and that money, your EPF that you might have at work now, that is gone. So one does become a dependent beyond 60s. Nowadays, yes, of course, the working age group has increased. You do get to be retained as consultant in some places, but also keep in mind that there are too many jobless youths. Probably we should also let them go and then occupy our places. I have seen myself few Rapido drivers of 650s plus. I mean, it's sad, but then at one side we see that the B.Techs and M.Techs are Swiggy drivers, right? And there are also B.Tech kids. I mean, my students tell that Dunzo boy, somebody came, but then he was having that fancy FZ bike, sir. I said, yes, he is doing this job to pay his EMI. Good that he's taken up on his own rather than his father's money. So, this is what I was talking about, employment situation. Where I am in this age group, am I in a full-time job, or am I a student, or I mean, I'm talking that you can start very early as investments. So, full-time job till when? No? Those kind of things. Marital status, am I single, am I married, separated, divorced, widowed? So you have, separated with 2 children, how do I manage? No? All those kind of things come in. And for a family, is it family of 4 or 6 or 8? And what kind of age group are the dependents at home? So as head of the family, it becomes essential to take stock of these kind of things. That how many members are at home, and then adults, adolescents, children. So variety of expenses are increasing for every age group is what I would say. So taking cognizance of this factor, I don't know if you have seriously done it, maybe if you have not, you may look at it a little more scientifically is what I was suggesting. Any questions here? So far? You're okay? Yes, please. So this is what I was talking about, investing wisely. How can we make use of money that it compounds at a rate which is higher than inflation and also gives me a decent return? So there are a variety of options to invest. Let's see some power of compounding. So what a gentleman here was telling, the simple interest comes like this, or a recurring deposit, or you keep your deposit for 5 years, that earns you more. But what is the maximum deposit rate nowadays offered to senior citizens? 7.5. Sundaram Finance ever, sir? Sundaram Finance
Around
8%. 8% for senior citizens and trusts. That's what I saw latest ad last week. So 8% because, of course, housing loans have gone slightly more, but as of last reading, housing loans were available for 6.5%.
Now it's gone up.
Now it has gone up because
Last year it was 6.6, now it is 8.5.
Now it is one more than a
2% gone up.
so RBI has increased interest rates because inflation has been high, much higher than RBI's targets. So not just in India and RBI, but US Fed, Bank of England, European Central Bank, everywhere interest rates have been high. Inflation is a worry global worry at this present moment.
So I'm not getting
Yes,
that
please.
actually. Maybe I can't able to.
One moment. I think I'll finish with him, sir. Yes.
See, sorry sir, maybe the layman language I'm asking.
Sure.
Inflation is increased and rate of interest bank is increasing. It is indirectly reduce the buying power of the people. No, sir. How
Correct.
it help to sustain the inflation? I'm not getting that.
Okay. So I might have to take a class in economics for that. But then I would appreciate you for this because this is also a dichotomy for the policymakers, like even RBI governor will wonder. Because while you increase interest rates, your agenda objective is to tame inflation. But you are affecting the economy's growth, GDP growth other way. Because the higher interest rates reduces consumption
Exactly.
by households and also firms. You are spot on.
It is only question of balancing.
Yes. So
Question
how
of
well,
balancing.
if you today's newspaper, if you open, you will find Dr. Raghuram Rajan speaking about this, okay, on inflation, at some conference somewhere in Thailand, I think, or Indonesia, is it? Yeah. So you can read. Just Google Raghuram Rajan on inflation, and you put today's date, you will get. He is talking about how central banks have to be more proactive. Okay, so it's not just one way, and it is not again. Many times all RBI governors say it is not the job of the RBI or central bank alone. What the government does, messy things, many ways, is also equally important. How many freebies or subsidies, isn't it? So in this case, since now this war is 9 months plus, you know what kind of fertilizer subsidy has increased in India? I mean, for the union government, state government is studying. So from something like some 80,000 crore, what annually used to be fertilizer subsidy has gone up to 3 lakh crore plus. Why? Even fertilizer is imported. What is given as subsidized fertilizer to the farmers in India, what these politicians promise is also imported. That is putting effect on even foreign exchange rate of India's INR. Many things are there. No, my standard answer would be that 10 plus 10 is never equal to 20 in economics. That's it. Never. It can be 202 also. It can be minus 5 also. It can be any number. There are so many things, terms and conditions apply in Kodavale and the Mari. So there are so many variables at work at the same time that it's never, it can never be one. So, like Sir said here, RBI, policymakers, finance ministers, state finance ministers, they have a tough job. It's a very challenging job. How will they manage? But then also how well they understand economics and how well they really mean for putting the best things for the citizens, or is it putting just the best things for vote bank?
One word, clearly understood, not I can't understand this.
You now understood?
Understood? I can't understand this.
Last one to Last one, okay, let me put it this way. Good economics is bad politics. Right. Good economics is bad politics, so politicians will do what is good for them. Yes, there are two hands. I'll take his question first. He raised first. Yes.
Previously, if we look at 10 years before,
Ah.
we don't have that Bajaj Finance type of NBFC.
Right.
Now, lot of NBFCs are coming which are giving better interest. But we, maybe a little older people, may not believe on them that for a long-term investment. Then if, let's say, SBI is giving 7.5%, but they are giving 8.5%, but still we think that, okay, better to go for SBI, because the brand name and something which are already lasting in the market for so long. So, how we become an investor need to understand this positive and negative.
Sir, picture
Like,
yes.
how to believe that should we go for 8.5 or 7.5?
So, risk comes from what I don't know. I need to invest some time in learning about Bajaj Finance and its financial position. So, I am a shareholder in both Bajaj Finance and Bajaj Finserv, and they have given me, I don't know, maybe 4,000% return in the last 12-14 years. So, the share price has gone up because they are doing excellent, they are doing very well. All I have to know, everything can be learned. What financial ratios do I look for in a normal manufacturing company? What kind of ratios to look for in a finance company or a bank? Are they performing well? Will they pay back my money? That's your question, isn't it? And that is the risk. So I can learn. Possible? So, perfectly understandable question. That Indian Bank and SBI, I know. It's been there since my grandfather's age. And all these new age NBFCs, definitely these few names are good. What names you chose and where I said I've invested. But there are many fintech companies. Today everything is happening fintech. You go to buy a refrigerator and then you say that I'm paying cash. He says, "Illa sir, in the scheme is it." And you take a loan, EMI option, and then you actually sit and calculate, you'll be paying another 20% more. Nothing is free. And these fintech companies, if you are looking at investing, that I would say is a problem. Or the newer small finance bank companies, those are troubling. But a Sundaram Finance or a Bajaj Finance, where you know that they belong to a group which is clean, they've been there for a long time, no? I would advise, please go ahead. But do your own research also. Yes, sir. I hope you will remember your question.
One was with regard to the inflation theory. So, one was regarding inflation. Now that we are hearing that US and other countries are about to go into a recession, with that, what I understand from recession is that when recession happens, the prices come down.
Recession happens, okay.
The demand is lower. But here we are seeing that the inflation is going up.
I might have to do a full-fledged class on business cycle for you.
No, that's fine. So will that actually change?
This is precisely what Mr. Raghuram Rajan is talking about. That there is possibly an inflation cycle may turn downwards. You are right. What's your name? You are absolutely right. That is also expected. And see, as I said, it's a very layman, our economist, our RBI governor, you can also read. So,
not the other one in the back.
So, yeah. So this cycle can turn. The business cycles go up and down, and anything is possible. Today we live in a globalized world, and what happens in US or Europe is going to affect us definitely. It is not like what Dr. Y.V. Reddy said in 1997-98 Asian financial crisis, that we are decoupled. Nothing will happen to us, not anymore. Yes.
Actually, the first question itself, I was not done. So, when you're saying that these are two extremes, right? One is inflation, one is recession. Recession, you don't want to spend because you feel that things will not be good for a long time, and you don't want to take risk. And whereas inflation, the idea is that you don't want to encourage people taking more loans because you feel that okay, that is actually driving up the prices.
I seriously wish that my students in class ask these kind of questions. These are good economic questions. Just to answer you, there is something in between these both. And that damn thing is called as stagflation, where the economy is stagnant or recessionary and there is a huge inflation. That is also happening. And that is the biggest worry. What do you do? How do you tackle it?
So, how do we take advantage of what precautions do we have to take now that we are in this phase that we don't know whether to put money here or whether to keep money liquid? So we are in a dilemma, right?
Okay.
So I don't know whether I will have job 1 year down the line because I'm in a market in which people are getting laid off. So I have that risk.
Sure.
Right now I don't see in the short term I don't see my job going on.
Okay.
And I'm engaged.
Okay.
So I don't have that worry today, but 1 year down the line I don't know. And I want to keep some money liquid. I don't want to touch that money. At the same time, and I am about to come into my next question. So at the same time, if I have some liquid money, it is lying dead and it will lose value. So that was the first question. So how do you make a judgment on that? The second question was more personal. I have now gone into equity market. See, when my father retired and he had some, and he was a private employee, and he had some liquid money. He put that into few FDs and other things based on what the chartered accountant or the auditor told him, and he lost money in that.
FD le eppadi loss
Yeah,
agum?
FD la.
Ah.
So அவர் வந்து மெட்ராஸ் மோட்டார்ஸ் ஒரு கம்பெனில போட்டாரு.
Okay.
அது மூடிடுச்சு. So he lost that money, not much, 50,000, but 50,000 at that time was
Right.
a huge amount. இன்னைக்கு நினைச்சு பார்த்தா அது பெரிய amount தெரியும். ஆனா அன்னைக்கு அது பெரிய amount. So from then on, it was into my psyche, and I have never put money into the equity market, but I want to begin now.
Yeah.
So how do I begin? And another thing was that.
No, Chandrasekhar, one moment. I'll just we'll go one step at a time. I think probably you stepped in a little late. We did talk about the life cycle, and we did talk about risk of uncertainties that we have.
One final question.
Yes.
So what my knowledge is very limited on the equity part, but what I imagine is that people make money through dividend or through the share price.
This is coming.
Okay. So what I don't.
मिलते हैं break के बाद. This is all there. இல்ல இது முடிஞ்சதுக்கு அப்புறம் புரியலன்னு சொல்லுங்க. I'll tell again. Is that okay, Chandrasekhar?
Okay, I'm coming to the end of the question.
End of question கிடையாது. Break के बाद. I'm just kidding. I will not go without answering you. Is that okay? Your answers are here. You, as I said, some parts you missed, so you are raising those questions, and other answers are still here. Yes, sir.
If I have money from my savings, can I close the housing loan? What is the advantage of keeping the housing loan for income tax purpose instead of closing the housing loan? And there are two scenarios, like the one having a scenario having you don't have any self house, or assume you are having a house more than one houses. And assume at the retirement I have a 50 lakhs or something like that. So can I have a house of 50 lakhs at the end, or I can keep 50 lakhs in my bank itself? Just give your thoughts.
I personally believe idum varum actually. That is also there. But then let me answer now itself that you take loans which you can repay, number one, and loans you repay at the earliest possible is better. There are many people would suggest that take a housing loan, it will save you taxes. I mean, I'll say that's utterly rubbish. Okay, so you earn more, you pay more tax. That's it. If government is not giving me back anything, they are helping many other people. There are street lights, isn't it? The whole of Chennai, people from outside, they come, they have street lights. Anyone who has gone to UP Bihar of late? Other than Anirban? What would you say, वहाँ कैसा है? Do you have these kind of roads and street lights? नहीं. Other than Calcutta city, slightly बाहर गए तो भी नहीं मिलेगा. In Calcutta, where he comes from. So we have to be happy that Tamil Nadu is the most urban state in the country. That is 2/3 of the state is urbanized. Urbanized meaning there is electricity, there is road, there are pakka houses like your school kids in the economics book. If you see,
Just lighter way of saying this housing loan tax thing. To save 2,000 rupees tax, they
Yeah.
force you to spend 20,000 rupees.
absolutely, absolutely, and then you will end up buying some house on the OMR or this side. What is that? Puduvancheri, Chennai to Mega Rigil.
And you end up with a loss. Anyway, you want to sell it.
Exactly. You want to sell it, you will not.
Getting less value than what you are.
That is what I was telling earlier, sir. You are absolutely right. So the developers will tell that, and the bankers are more than ready. I was shocked to enter. I mean, I hardly go to the bank branch, but I was shocked to see some saying that you have some 25,000 rupees income, you can take a 2 crore loan, housing loan.
I was in the same situation actually. I sold one house inside the city, which I bought in 2004. I sold it in 2019, just COVID. And I had one more house in Mahamay Nagar where I was paying EMI. So I calculated and closed the loan. Exact same thing I had. So I,
அப்புறம் இது வித்ததுக்கு உடனே உங்களுக்கு capital gains tax வராது இன்வெஸ்ட்மென்ட் பண்ணுங்க சொல்லி போறாங்க. So these things are to be kept in mind if you are investing in real estate.
And to add to what you were saying, last 2-3 years, government has become very vigilant.
Yes.
Linking your PAN to everything, you just cannot
Sure.
escape it. 5-10 years you would have escaped the radar, but now it's like a hawk there. Every small thing they are paying.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right.
So there's no point.
Aadhaar card.
In fact, as you said, you'll be ending up paying more on the EMI side and saving on your taxes.
Absolutely.
It's not going to help at all.
Attending this session after one year late actually. I would have attended last year.
See, why, I was sharing my personal life journey and why into this and why this I'm so passionate about and also share is that I told you about my being with my dad and then what struck me at that particular time. Hindi, Doha, Kabir Das, Doha and Kabir Das theriyum, but Hindi very few will understand here. How many can understand? And you've heard of, there's good many, there's 1/3 at least. Poot, Suput, तो क्यों धन संचय, पूत कुपूत तो क्यों धन संचय. Poot means son, ku seta ka bad son, tardalai. Okay, su seta suput is excellent. He's good at everything and he will excel. So what Mr. Kabir Das said about 1,000 years plus back is that if you have a son who is lousy, why do you want to? Dhan is money. Sanchay is to collect money. Why are you collecting money? He is going to blow it off, right? And if your son is Getikaran, he will make his own things. Why do you have to, right? So that goes to Mr. Kabir Das. That goes to Mr. Kabir Das, not to me. Huh?
Not this side, not that side.
Other balance position, sir. You should be happy. So. Why do I need 3rd house, 4th house? You have to plan that yes, it is for my retirement planning. It is for me that I want to go to Bahamas and then to Mauritius. For that you do. If you are planning, all that is there. How many dependent till what extent?
TDS will be calculated, right? Does it make any benefit out of it? Because if you have 50 lakhs, then you have to pay TDS for your interest. And how that will make you...
Sir, my point is simple. I earn more, I pay more tax. That's all. These bankers and these wealth advisors who come there to save tax, let's come. You put, in mutual fund and you take another insurance policy. Insurance policy, you take money back policy, it will give you. And that's again another piece of horseshit. Because insurance should be term policy. Insurance is for my life. If I have to make returns, there are so many other ways to make returns. So what happens is that nothing comes for free. There, LIC, there are like 20 more private companies. Those companies are going to charge you a higher premium. One should not be paying more than 10,000 rupees for 1 crore kind of a policy, that's it. 10,000 rupees per annum I'm saying. You should be smart that I am leaving this 1 crore in the eventuality of me not being there to my family, that's it. That's what it is worth. I shouldn't be paying 1.5 lakhs for that 1 crore policy, thinking that, sir, money back, it will come back. Again tax plan. Now you pay 1.5 lakhs, it will save you taxes. But then why save taxes? In the name of saving taxes, what am I getting into? That one has to realize.
So, one of my friend who is a Gujarati, he told, he was my younger colleague, he said, you have to de-link your life coverage and your investment.
Right.
Don't mix. He said.
Absolutely. Perfect advice. So, life cover should be a term policy is what the name is. Anything other than that, I think you should simply say no. And it will come with riders. You know, what will happen if one eye goes, one arm goes. So then I'll take a health policy for that. You pay for a health policy and then pray that nothing happens, right? For anyone of us in the family. I mean, these are just some small things which go a long way in saving money, is what I would say, rather than saving taxes. Okay, so this is what finally I would say that the risk part, how it's all open today, you click and everything is there. And then if you want to have a visual and an audio, YouTube, there are like hundreds of jokers making videos and showing you. You can choose whom you want to watch and follow. Yes, please. So, as I saw, many of us are investing in stocks and mutual funds here. As I said, adequate insurance is required for both for health and life. Fixed deposits, recurring deposits we are doing. Post office saving plans, there are plenty. Right from there is one, all that Indra Vikas Patra and all those are there. And there is, sorry sir?
For the girl child.
Girl child, now there is, that's a good one, yes.
Sir, that health insurance, that is from the company is enough or we should have separate?
I advise having one more, but then if you think that dependents are not many and then you are a safe person.
Again, it depends on the company, because some company give a fantastic, in that case it is not needed.
No, when you change,
depends on the company.
no, when you move company, right, then that insurance get over. In the new company, the policy will be different.
Depends on if you are working that company, then fantastic person, you need to go.
I have one.
And you have to check, I'll just finish this, sir. You need also to check whether that health cover kicks in immediately. Or is it that it will start only once you are confirmed, or only after you finish 1 year of service? These are common riders that you might find, which the HR person may also not be knowing. I mean, I'm not saying that HR will not reveal. Maybe the HR person doesn't know himself or herself. And will come as a shock when you apply, you're not, then they might say that, sorry, company is denying, insurance company is denying because you're not even 1 year in the company. Then we are stuck.
This NPS is okay to do?
Yeah, national pension system is good. So they are investing in the markets nowadays. It's better than PPF or EPF. EPF is giving a standard return. PPF also gives a standard return in the banks also you can open. This, they've given it to professional fund managers now. Axis Bank, ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank, SBI. Sorry. So they are managing, they are putting in both in equity market, debt market, government securities, they all have proportions. So I would still say that's good. Yes, sir.
No, the corporate insurance policy, there's one guy has told me, you have some separate policy because after your retirement, the company will not take care of you. If you go for a policy, you have to pay higher end of premium.
Correct.
So I have some separate policy when you are young, the premium will be less. I thought it is sensible, but I'm not doing that actually.
So 40-50,000 you might end up spending for, say, taking a 12 to 15 lakh cover for 3 or 4 in the family. So you say that 50,000 rupees, of course, that I will say that it helps in tax planning also. But then in a very sensible way, that 4 of us in the family are protected. Other riders are there. That this much amount premium you pay, you can take only hospital room per day rent of 1,000 rupees, 2,000 rupees, 5,000 rupees rent or more. It's like that. Okay. So as I said, my mother-in-law is at home. That Apollo Hospital in Perungudi, 5,000, 6,000 rupees per day. Okay, but that's the catch there. That father-in-law used to work in ONGC. He retired when I got married, so like 25 years almost. ONGC is taking care fully. Okay.
Coincidentally, when the COVID come, no, none of the
So,
insurance companies
once-
cover the COVID coverage.
So when my father-in-law told that everything is covered, including eyewear and dental, because eyewear and dental, no company will give you, no insurance company.
Correct.
Once he said, I immediately sold ONGC and Oil India, the shares I had. So one person in the family is benefiting is fine, but then I know my returns that the company's profits where they are going. So that was the day I sold. That's like almost 20 years back. And I generally do not touch any PSU company, but then there were reasons at that particular time. So after that I realized more about PSU companies. Okay, so you're right, sir. So health insurance is important. You take that 40-50,000 rupees. 50,000 could be the maximum. No? That 80CCC will take care. But now they are clubbing everything into that 80CCC.
Yes.
So
Let's go to 80D.
80D. Yeah, you're right.
Separate.
80D. But 80D किन्नु तनिया का?
Yes.
Separate.
That is
Separate.
separate?
Yes. Over and above 80.
So I think we should what this is buy your intro more for the risk cover rather than thinking about
Absolutely.
the tax benefits.
So that again, you was a report 25,000. It was now 40,000 is the maximum.
55
For you, I think it is about 25,000. Then your parents will have another 30,000, and if they are super senior, then it is I think that way of 40,000.
Yeah, so they keep it that way, and then if there is somebody handicapped, there is some more and blah blah. But don't bother about all of them. Even if you have to spend about 1 lakh, I think you can just take it that you went on a holiday to Apollo Hospital and back, but then you're very happy that you did not go to that holiday. Just assume that you spent on that holiday to Apollo. By the way, I'm an Apollo shareholder and I'm wishing fantastic day. So
Here the SIP comes in the mutual.
yes, SIP comes here. You can make an SIP for your own stocks. I will be discussing this. Okay, so these are various. Maybe I'm not putting all the other fancy things like art and vineyards and yachts.
So you have put real estate as one of the investment
Correct.
options, but that is also very volatile market.
Very volatile, but then there are people who understand that.
Returns are very high.
So there are people who understand, and then there are people who invest their time and energy. I myself have a friend who goes around the whole of. He has gone beyond Chengalpet up to Ambur. He keep looking at agricultural lands and he'll buy them. But then every time he wants to sell, it will not go. Villangam. In Nana, there are some 8 fellows who signed. I mean, I'm using very term that nowadays that's what happens. No, the father would have left his piece of land to all the children, and then the grandchildren, and some grandchild will be minor, and so
Even the papers are and things, physical encroachment will be there. That is
Absolutely.
another challenge.
So he understands all that and he's ready. He says, no, I will manage. So there are such people who know, and I as well said that rental incomes are excellent incomes also if you can manage them well. So that is why I put real estate. Yeah, somebody else was talking to say.
Many young people are investing in these cryptocurrencies. So they are risky, and what are the take on that?
No, there is a BIS statement, Bank of International Settlements. This Dr. Raghuram Rajan spoke there only. There was a conference. So their report of 10 days back, you can see that about 50% of people who were so-called traded, they all lost money. So there are stock exchanges getting closed. So because if I know coding and if I'm good at it, I have power, I can start my own exchange. I can mint my own currency. So cryptos are not officially recognized by the government or any central bank other than one country whose currency people don't believe in. So they believe either in US dollar or in crypto, but you can't do. So the point here is that there are many other things that determine the value of crypto, up and down. Okay, so you buy paying some huge money and then you lose. So if you look at some maybe 7-8 years back, what Amitabh Bachchan said, no, he had invested in cryptos, his financial advisor advised, and then he put and he lost money. And then he said, I'm not doing anymore. So if you have that luxury, that you have tons of money, thoda khao, thoda feko, no, then you can do. You don't mind wasting some money, it's absolutely okay. You want to have the thrill and excitement of that, you can do. Otherwise, there are so many, as I said, risk. If you understand the risk, sir, please do it. And then I am saying it is very, very risky. I am not saying Bank of International Settlements, who is banker to all the central banks. Okay, so he is saying that. So maybe you can do a little research and then do that. Avoidable is one word. Yes, sir. So coming to my pet theme here, that how money can be compounded more. Sir, how much time do we have? How are we doing on time? 15 minutes. Okay.
Yeah, you can.
You can finish and here.
You're here, okay. So let me know for 5-10 minutes before, or when tea somebody says, we'll go. Tea and vada bonda, anything? Okay. If not, you can still order. So, when I'm getting, see how people have compounded money, staying long-term invested in quality stocks with bold underline, right? This gentleman started investing when he was something like 11-year-old. There are tons of videos on him you can watch. He's 92 and he's just going to hang his boots. They've identified who might take over from him. So, worth over 100 billion, which is like 10,000 crore US dollars, and in Indian rupees about 8,200 lakh crores. Purely made on equity investments which he started, putting newspapers, delivering newspaper, used to save and started investing. He bought a company called Berkshire Hathaway, which was into some textile. He closed all that. That Berkshire Hathaway today is the holding company, and they are also shareholders, largest shareholders in many companies, including Coca-Cola. Okay? Many companies. He avoided tech companies, now he is buying the same Apple, Google. He said, I'm a late entrant, maybe I was wrong. He avoided coming to India, saying India has too many complications, the markets, how it works. He started investing there. And his major things are also in insurance companies. And now we all know, we understood some bit how insurance companies make money. So insurance companies have a huge float. They collect premium, but then the eventuality or probability of them paying out is much less. Right? It's a huge science they do, and that is how they fix the so-called premium amount, how much it should be every year. So that money also stays with him and his company. So Berkshire Hathaway investors have made tons of money, and so has he. Next is our own Indian homegrown. He passed away only this August, few months back. So he started in 1985 with 5,000 rupees. Okay, so his company is there, Rare Earth, and the new airline also he started. Many advise that don't invest money in airline. He said, no, I want to. What is that airline called? Akash. So it has just taken off. He's one of the financial investors in that. And net worth in July 2022 was something like 40,000 crore rupees. Okay, that's about $5 billion. I'm going to use this example of HDFC Bank. Okay, so that is Mr. Aditya Puri, who just hung his boot last year. IPO came out in 1995 for 10 rupees, right, at par. And it was subscribed some, you all understand, I think, all are pros here. So whoever doesn't understand, I'll try to use basic language there. There are many people whoever wants to buy those shares, they apply. And for every one share, there are 55 applicants, something like that, if I put it. So it was oversubscribed 55 times. And the day it opened on Bombay Stock Exchange, 95, yeah, NSE had just happened. NSE also came into being in 95. It lists at 40 rupees. Okay? So the current price is about 1,600 rupees, and the 10 rupee face value has now become 1 rupee face value. So if I had invested 10,000 rupees, this is the best case scenario, by the way, I put bold underline. It's a best case scenario situation that somebody who had invested 10,000 rupees would have got 1,000 shares of 10 rupees each, and that 1,000 shares, now that face value is 1, so 1,000 into 10 would be 10,000 shares, right? 10,000 shares multiplied by today's price, I mean, what was the closing price just around this yesterday, it makes it about 1 crore 60 lakhs. Provided whoever bought it stayed invested. Okay, it's possible. So 2004 we at ICICI, we were managing TCS IPO, and I bought shares in TCS of IPO. I still have it. Wonderful investment. And then I've been adding at every price, and the company feels very happy giving bonuses every time. So Infosys, TCS, fantastic shares too. You can still buy. I mean, I would say no problem. The same with HDFC and HDFC Bank. Now, of course, HDFC will merge with the bank. Yes, please.
Is it really the dividend that you make money, or only when you sell the share later?
Dividend comes. Here I put no. Where have I put? Yeah, plus dividends. So this is notional profit. I invested 10,000 rupees. 10,000 rupees actual value is what went out of my pocket. Till the day I sell, this 1 crore 60 lakh is only notional. So my income is only the dividends that come every year, but this value is what makes Mr. Adani and Mr. Ambani the richest people in the world. Right? Same for Jeff Bezos or for Mr. Berkshire Hathaway. They are valuing the number of shares they hold in their company which they have promoted. Am I making sense? So it is a notional value. At the same time, notional doesn't mean it has no value either.
But how much dividends you will get? I mean, like for
Fantastic. They pay. I mean, I think one would have got at least a few lakhs if you had stayed invested. TCS pays something like 35 rupees. Infosys also every year. 35 rupees.
Into number of shares.
Number of shares, yeah. So somebody would have invested in Infosys at that time. They'll also be worth something similar. Okay, so Mr. Narayan Murthy's thing, if you read, famously even his the driver are all crorepati's. Right? And this gentleman we saw, he gives away a lot of shares in philanthropy. So beyond, in spite of giving them, he has so much. Same with Mr. Azim Premji. Before, if you take 75% of shares are held by Mr. Premji and his family. Okay? Many bonuses, good dividends. Right? HCL Technology is again India's most biggest philanthropist, no? Mr. Shiv Nadar. So they have made money. You all work in, many of you work in IT companies. You know that IT companies make good money because there's nothing involved. It's only our labor, isn't it? And one PC and something in the cloud.
Exchange rate.
Okay, so that makes 33% per year compounded annual growth rate over the last 27 years. Where will you get 33% returns? So your inflation we calculated 7%, 8%, maximum double digit. That's what we have to prepare for. Maybe what if 7, 8, 10 happens? And then nothing, no kind of investment will be worthwhile. So this is if you had stayed invested, but one can always sell at the times of need. Isn't it? No, as I was saying that you need wealth and you need money only to be consumed. What I don't consume today or now is what is saving. And what is saving for future consumption, period. Now, future consumption means, is it for me and my immediate family, or is it for my Yedavadu Talamurai? You know, that makes some of very rich people here in this town or country, different kind of animals. Greed. So we don't want to be that kind of greedy. We want to just make something available for us.
My question is, okay, this one is the best case provided because at that time the IPO was there, so it's 10 rupees and also over 10 years, 15, this is the value. Suppose today, because we know that TCS is stabilized, now say they are trading at say 3,500 rupees per share. Today, if I buy say 10 shares, but maybe after 10 years, it may be hovering on a similar value. That 3,500 will not become 35,000.
No, in the process they would have given bonuses twice. So your 10 shares would have become 30 shares. Infosys, TCS, every third, fourth, fifth year you can expect a bonus. That is one free share for every one share I hold. Yeah? So as the number of shares keep growing, I have some requirement, I sell some shares. So about this gentleman, Mr. Rakesh Junjunwala, he bought a huge property in Bombay, okay, which was like worth some 300 crores apparently. It's all there in the internet, you can do your search. And he was demolishing it and he wanted to make his own Antilla. You know Antilla, right? So he wanted to make his own house like Mr. Ambani's. I'm not saying in any bad ways. I'm just saying that the shares that he sold of CRISIL at that particular time, he got some 300 crores roughly. There's some value to it. The same shares, had he not sold, they are worth 7,500 crores. Now what do we do? I mean, should I just keep the shares thinking that it will grow, or is it that I sell them when I need money? Isn't it? A house is where I can live. You know, I am one of the richest man in the country. I want to have experience of the house. So I sell some and I do it. No, I can't live on the shares, right? So that's the point. So whenever the need be, it is at a click away, unlike real estate or unlike a PPF or EPF. No, there you have terms and conditions apply. Yes, nothing. At best, you'll have to pay taxes, long-term capital gains, which till 4 years, 5 years back was zero, but then now even for long-term you have to pay 10% taxes.
This shares also, that is 30% or 10%? If I sell this share now?
10%. Beyond 1 year. If it is short-term, less than 1 year you trade, easily work. So short-term capital gains are 15%.
15%.
See, this again, if I have to go back to my personal thing, I had a librarian in grade 10, KV Tambaram, Kendriya Vidyalaya Tambaram, one Mr. Petain. Okay, so those days it was fancy to take a autograph notebook and take his autograph. No? So the thing he wrote, I think it's still there somewhere in my attic. In life, only two things are guaranteed: death and taxes. So this is 1986. 1986, only two things are guaranteed. So why should I bother so much about paying taxes? No? It is a given. I earn an income, I have to pay. Yes, it pains that I pay when I earn and I also pay GST when I spend. It is painful. But then you are helping nation building. Right? So we are giving the blood to Mr. Modi so that he builds the nation. Yes, sir.
Question on basically you touched upon share, equity shares and all. I just wanted to find out about mutual funds actually.
Next follow. Mutual funds.
So I've been having now.
The fund for the last 10 years, all on dividend sake. But now with this new devil-like thing coming up on taxes on everything, on the new government's implementation, does it make sense to switch over from a dividend to a growth-oriented mutual fund scheme?
So this again is your life stage. Do you want steady income which you will be spending, or you want to grow at a later time? Keep it that way, that if I need money in hand with which I will feel comfortable spending, isn't it? So petrol price going up, all the household things going up, I need little more cash will help. So maintain that dividend thing. Or if you think that no, I am still earning and taking care of those expenses, these are investments which let them be for long term, you can let them be. I would say very practical, sensible way to look at would be that.
I mean,
don't go by that tax thing.
Yeah, no, it becomes then like an equity share, like if you just hold it like a growth fund, and
When you sell it, you get it at NAV value.
Yeah.
Without
Absolutely. Now the difference is that 2005 I left, 2006 there was a market crash, right? So in May there were elections and around that time. So I just came back, I just got back from a holiday and I said that a lot of money is already lost, market has fallen and I have no job, I am doing my PhD now, right? Why should I be paying for the fancy cars and receptionist of this fellow? Because I knew all of them, right? All the fund managers there at that time. I said that I don't have to be funding their fancy offices. I will manage my own. I know the basics. And that's when I started doing my own. So, for buying TCS, HDFC, Infosys, L&T, Ultratech, you don't need a mutual fund advisor or you don't need a mutual fund manager to whom you have to fund by paying 2% of your profits. Whether you profit or loss, 2% is going to him, to the company, asset management company, right? So these are the things we learn, and then whether it's okay, I don't want that headache, of looking at it every day. Something comes and then I'm happy.
To close the fund and put it in the equity market, you say.
Yeah, why not? Even today, as I was saying, I was going to tell him that even today at 3,400 odd, 3,500 TCS is a great buy.
In fact, if you look at some of the best mutual funds you have, you just study them, the top picks they have, you can.
Yeah, they are the same thing. Absolutely, sir.
He's doing the job for you basically, just you don't have to go around doing your own research. But I think at the end of the day, it's more becomes like an emotional subject. I mean, you should not get attached to it emotionally also. There is the element of emotion with a lot of people fall prey to it actually.
So that is where discipline is the only thing that differentiates a good investor from a bad investor or a good investment from a bad investment. So if we have some disciplined way that how our criteria, how I'm going to look at it, and then these are the things I'm good at, I can look at this. But then just because somebody suggested do this, just because somebody suggested this is great, and then FOMO kicks in, fear of missing out. Oh, crypto, they are all making money. I'm just using that example, sir. So people making money, that's what you get to read. One doesn't understand the risk, and then you also want to try it out. So I'm just saying that from that perspective, even today, see the same price and the NAV no? Yeah, you are feeling happy that you have a profit because you invested at an NAV of 22, today it is 44 or 444.
But then the funds are like a tortoise. Don't expect staggering rise like the.
tortoise This is what equity markets are tortoise for good investments.
Yeah, but then if you see like I mean, just an add-on thing. When the COVID thing started, a lot of people were at home. And a lot of people got jobs also. Majority, when a lot of people jumped into the market because they thought they can get an alternate, channel of money coming in.
So it's not investments. They didn't do investments. They were doing trading, and many of them were doing F&O, futures and options, without understanding that. And many of them, most of them, if you just go cover, look at them, they have lost their underpants. Okay, so that's the status. No change there. Sir, I will look at them.
I have just one doubt actually, because my understanding of this topic right now, if I am holding 10 TCS shares, that is asset for me, am I right, sir?
Yes.
Same as asset for Tata also. Why? Because he is having my money 35,000.
No, Tata balance sheet, the liabilities are coming.
Oh.
In the balance sheet of theirs, it will be shown as liabilities. Equity, shareholders' capital.
I see.
And borrowed capital.
So my understanding was maybe Mukesh Ambani become number one rich man. My share money also, I thought it's adding his value.
No, I have 10 shares of Reliance. He has 10,000 crores of Reliance. I'm just putting some number. Okay, so he's more rich.
So
he is like 1 crore time richer than me.
So my share value is not an asset for him. It's a liability for him.
A company is different from the owner or the what do I call it? The entrepreneur who started.
Got it.
If I start a company today, company is separate entity as long as it's not proprietorship. If I open a proprietorship firm, then all the assets, liabilities are mine and my companies are same.
My money is having asset.
Reliance Industries, I am giving money, investing in Reliance Industries Limited. Okay, so tomorrow some failure happens. By the way, I don't know if you are aware, Mr. Mukesh Ambani is the second, third, fourth, fifth largest, richest man. What happened to his brother? Anil Ambani. He is filed for bankruptcy. And Mrs. Kokila Ben divided 50-50 to both of them once Mr. Dhirubhai Ambani died. So these are things, no? How he didn't manage so well. He already had a Reliance Telecom. Okay, whereas this gentleman started Jio all from scratch. So Jio Engoyorke and Reliance Telecom, there's some 20,000 crore losses.
One focus model, other focus role model.
I don't know. I'm just saying that each person's sense of decision making is different. Each person's greed levels and fear levels are different. I'm not judging Mr. Anil Ambani by what he did. Okay, so it's for me as an investor how I look at it. Another starting layer I was talking about Mr. Adani, that he is doing great because all the orders are coming in his favor. Okay, if the regime change, it can be different. No more Mr. Baba Ramdev and no more Adani. I'm sorry, this could be out of line kind of a thing, but then I'm just saying, I'm sharing my personal views here, that I look at liabilities very seriously. If a company is not, if it is highly leveraged, and then the leverage is to the extent that the owner, the so-called owner of the company doesn't have money even to buy the company, then why do I have to touch it? There are so many options, I have choices. So the decision making is up to me, no? Nobody is forcing me to buy Adani share, right? Nobody is forcing you to buy Reliance shares. That's it. I'm saying that we understand the risk and each one to himself or herself. This session is towards enlightening that part, nothing else. I'm not guaranteeing that you put money in equity market. I'm just saying that there are these examples. Look at Larsen and Toubro, 105-year-old company, fantastic, still growing, and fantastic dividends. And it is a professionally managed company. There is no owner. Mr. Larsen and Toubro both have died, both British gentlemen. LIC is probably the largest shareholder. At one particular time, Reliance, Mr. Dhirubhai Ambani wanted to take over. All the stories you can read. But then, thankfully, LIC came in, stepped in, and then prevented some such act. No? Yes, please.
What is the advantage of using credit card? Suppose, is it wise to have
more than 2 credit cards? Or can I have 1 credit card and make sure I pay the money within the date? And what to be careful while using the credit card?
I look at liabilities very objectively. Credit card company is not providing you credit out of love to you, isn't it? He is wanting to make his 45% per annum from you.
Plastic money now.
Whether you want to pay him that 46% or 50%, Citibank, something like that works out. I bought a card because he asked 1993, second year in my job, and I still have that same card. Maybe coming year it may become Axis card because Axis has taken over Citibank operations. So they'll send that you are the valued customer. Please, sir, you just say yes and we'll give you 6 lakh, we'll give you 60 lakh. I say thank you. You just press this button and then your credit limit will be increased 2 times. Thank you. I don't use.
Sir, I work in credit card company. So actually the thing is, okay, nothing wrong in having credit card, but better is pay off complete. Don't pay the minimum balance because that is where they make help.
Right. So that 46% comes only when you pay minimum balance and you think that. Yes. And I have had friends in Bombay who will have 2 cards. In the card, கொடுப்பாங்க. இது இப்போல 90s ல இருந்தே. ஓகே, அப்புறம் அந்த கார்டுல மினிமம் டியூ கட்டறதுக்கு இல்ல, இந்த தேர்ட் மூணாவது கார்டு எடுத்து கொடுப்பாங்க. So calling from American Express Bank, do you need a card? You calling அப்புறமா வந்து அப்பலாம் இல்ல ICICI HDFC. இப்போ இவங்களும் கூப்பிடுறாங்க.
And don't, another thing is don't enhance your credit. Let it stay as it is because because everything has to be within our earning capacity. So let it be as it is. So we'll have some discipline also.
I will just come back on this again, sir, in some time. Yes, please.
Sir, regarding this investing in stocks, now you mentioned HDFC, Reliance, TCS, Infosys. Now all these are great companies, they've been there for 30, 40, 50 years. So now today I'm going to invest. So the pattern that I see in all this is all these companies have good management. Irrespective of what is the market demand or market situation, there's been business cycles ups and downs. It's all about the management quality. So how do you evaluate this for different companies?
Like, what is your criteria, or how do you go?
That's what I mean. There are few ratios to look at. If our IPOs, the initial public offerings, see, these companies were not large. Okay, they also started small. So HDFC Bank was really small at that time. That is how they have grown from 10 rupees to 1,600 into 10 times. Yeah, because 10 is 1 rupee share price now. Today's companies which are small and coming out, they are all loss making. Look at what happened to Nika, or Nika still made small profits. Paytm, Zomato. Zomato and all 100 rupees attempts with that 40 rupees its value. This valuation, there is one, my guru, there is one Mr. Ashwath Damodaran. Okay, he teaches in New York University and he originally studied here in Loyola College. He is supposed to be the guru of valuation, right? So, you போட்டிங்க யூடியூப்ல போனீங்கன்னா நிறைய வீடியோஸ் வரும். Please watch. Excellent content you will get. How a company is valued and what should be followed. So, when Zomato was coming out, he just said that it's not worth than more than 40 rupees. Byju's is making losses. Ola will come, they are making losses. Uber was making losses, they got listed. So, do you want to be part of that kind of a, if one has that risk, that see, why when Ritish Agarwal can take risk and start Oyo company, I want to share my risk money with him. Please do, Oyo will come, you can buy IPO. Am I making sense here? So today's companies are loss-making companies who want to have more money from more greater number of shareholders. And what are these current shareholders doing? And the Shark Tank, there are investors who put money in the start company. They exit. Their price on the IPO, what is the average price? You'll see in paises, 10 paise, 20 paise, and then they will charge you 700 rupees or 500 rupees from you. So you buy 500, you pay 500 rupees, he converts his 10 paise into 500 and they are very happy, they are taking away. You want that risk? Be my guest. Yeah. So I would rather be putting my money in solid companies where I know their product, like banking I understand, automobile industries I understand. So you buy a Bharat Forge or you buy, say, Maruti. Maruti will grow slowly, but then it's okay. Big deal. You know that their cars will still be selling. We know that there's a huge middle class that in India first car will always be a Maruti. No? Mahindra's 300 rupees to now 1,200. Mahindra group companies are there. So each thing you spend about half an hour, 1 hour reading about companies, looking at their balance sheets. That's enough, half an hour. We don't need to pay for a fund manager. Yeah. So that you invest in yourself, that time, and you would see that that time actually is going to grow you more money. Yes, sir. Somebody raised hand there last year.
You do
HDFC IPO. Do you have had that information with you?
Yeah. At that particular time, SEBI rules were different. One company had to be profit making for and dividend paying for 3 years. Only those companies could come with IPO. Okay. And since I was a banker, so it was okay for me.
Today's IPO
to
is
know.
risky.
Yeah, today's IPO anybody can. I can start a company and I can give you shares.
Even LIC IPO, investors have lost around 30%.
Yeah, you are right, sir. I also. So this is one company I still believe, because I was looking forward to such a thing. The laws in insurance, the newer players are more efficient. So it's like airlines. Singapore Airlines used to have something like 22 employees on average per flight. Okay, 22 employees along with it. I think if my memory serves right, per aircraft. And Air India had more than 2,200 employees per aircraft. And we know the rest. You know how Air India was adding 5,000 crores of losses, only 5,000 crore every year. Okay. So whereas Singapore Airlines is supposed to be the most efficient airline in the globe, and they are still doing it well. So this boils down to efficiency. LIC is a behemoth, and LIC has many legacy problems. The employees still don't want, and what they have sold is only 3.5% of shares. So once that interest comes from more people to buy into shares, the share price will go. The valuation wise, the value is still undervalued, is my understanding. So I would still recommend you can buy and you can wait. No, insurance company is for long term waiting, so one can wait, it's okay.
Just
Yes, sir.
any formula to arrive at the retirement amount, or like after 10 years this is what the amount I want to.
இல்ல உங்க அப்புறம் வந்து நீங்க ஒரு என்ன சொல்றது wealth advisor வந்து உட்கார்ந்து they will see what are your spending patterns, how much money you would require.
No, I am.
And they will scare you. They will say that, sir,
no, I don't
inflation, you will need 5 crores then. So now you have, what is your income? You say net income கையில 1.5 lakhs number. Sir, you have to invest 2 lakh every month. Only then you will get that kind of money.
நிறைய அப்பக்கத மாதிரி நிறைய
அது வேண்டாம், அதனால தான் கேக்குறேன் உங்ககிட்ட.
அதுதான் ஆன்சர், வேற ஒண்ணும் இல்ல. As I said, पूत कुपूत क्यों धन संचय, पूत सुपूत तो क्यों धन संचय. I earn for my retirement, I will go higher. Okay, I will work till I want to work. I will earn till I want to earn. Okay, I was married to a wife, take care of her. Children, I took care of them. They came to college, school level. It's up to them. Isn't it? Did you guarantee your child that I will keep you protected all the time inside my house? I will solve all your problems. Your husband gives a problem, please come to me, I will solve. Then it becomes a mega serial on Sun TV.
சார் ஒருத்தருக்கு இந்த மாதிரி அட்வைஸ் பண்ணா நீங்க வீடே வாங்க கூடாதுன்றாரு. Some few years ago நீங்க வாங்கிக்க கூடாதுன்றாரு.
So it's like that also. You can see that way, that if you're comfortable moving houses in a rented house, no big deal. But then if you have a large family and extended family, some more dependents, and then you have to move around, it becomes a problem. You know, if it's just husband, wife and a pet, you can move. You can move houses. Yes.
One factory incident I'll tell you that. Maybe you can correct me. My wife used to tell that what are the surplus money you are having, you are spending, so I need to block your money.
Like that.
So you should only buy a property, house. Last year I bought a flat, 6.5 rate of interest. Now it become 8.5, no sir. I felt I made a wrong decision. Now it become all salaries are going towards EMI. So I would have taken
Okay,
away.
then I think we'll go to the next. This is simple rule of 72. If you divide it any number, what should be the rate of interest one should earn to double your money. So this is good enough, but then what kind of money are you investing in the first place? What will be the rate of return, and how long am I going to stay invested? Right? So this determines this compounding.
You must have, can you just repeat? I didn't get it.
No, like if the interest rate is 10%, okay? So you are putting FD in SBI, and SBI gives you 10%. 72 divided by 10 is 7.2 years. So if you put 10,000 rupees, it will become 20,000 in 7.2 years. That is the rule of 72. So what kind of, so if you are putting an FD in say Sundaram Finance for 8%, 8 9s are 72. So 9 years, your money will double. Okay. Yes, sir. This just gives an idea. Staying, I think, in the movement in equity market. There's not just TCS. All these guys, if you see, Infosys 30%, Eicher Motors, Shree Cement, Berger Paints, Honeywell, Sun Pharma, Bajaj Finance, Mothers and Sumi, this auto company, Britannia, Pidilite. Most of the companies I have, I think. Maybe not Berger.
Sir, here I have a hello.
Yes.
Mostly a manufacturing companies.
There I think somebody's.
Can you
Hello, yeah. Sir, regarding IPO, you are talking a lot on.
Sir, we have only 5 minutes to finish, I've been told. So if anything specific, probably over tea also we can take.
Just I wanted to give some 2 points. Like the 25 years plus old companies you are doing as a old equity companies. And nowadays, lot of IPO coming from the startups. The big difference between these two set of group of companies is that in olden days they used to get public money to invest as a equity capital for their own business growth.
Correct.
But nowadays, what these startups are doing, they have already some investors. They invested huge in crores. But over a period of time, they are showing their virtual growth to the public, and they have got their own branding, and they want to come out of their fear, and they take public money as IPO. They run away. lateral, the invested common public is suffering there, which is very
No common public is suffering, sir.
So
Nobody forced anybody to put money.
So let us not get trapped.
You're right in saying all that, I perfectly agree. I'm just saying that if one has not done enough research on the risk element, no, where am I parking my money, then you suffer. Or you park it and say that I'm okay, I will grow with Ritish Agarwal. Whenever Ritish Agarwal makes profit, I will make profit. Then you can put money in OYO and wait. Yes, sir. So nobody is forcing anybody because the equity market investors are like less than around 5% in India. 60% of Americans invest in equity and debt. In India, that's about it. But then it's understandable, 50% of the population is still poor, right? About 2/3, 60% don't earn even $3 a day. So where are you talking about investments and they're putting in IPO? So they don't have nothing to do with IPO. So it's about the investors we are talking about. Okay, so final words, time for winding up, I would say. A lot of good question answers here, which we have covered many. I try to look at these 4 elements, which we did a small exercise. Probably after going home, you can dwell more upon it and see what other things come out, what remarks come out, anything glaringly different you want to do, address. This is what I was trying to come to you, sir, that let's try this. If my income is 100, 50% is for the non-discretionary expenses. That is which I have to spend. I don't have a choice. Like buying groceries or elements of clothing and school fees and insurance. 50%, not more than that. Rest 30% is for the non-discretionary spends, which will include my housing loans. Now, rent housing loan or nala. If it is within this 30% of your income, fantastic, no problem at all. So this 30% should take care of my holidays and my car EMI, my housing EMI, and everything that I do beyond the necessities. Okay, and final 20% I put it aside as saving. So this 20% is not derived after all my spending what I have, well, I'll put as as saving, but I determine the saving amount right in the beginning every month itself. I know that this is going to be my salary and 20% is going for that. And I call it as a retirement fund. You can give it any name for long-term saving. Saving means what? I'm not going to spend today, I'm going to spend it later. That's it, it's deferred spending. Saving is not to, nobody, I'm not going to carry, none of us are going to carry anything above, right? Yeah. So it's like that for anybody. Let it be any XYZ and first richest or most richest or 10th richest. The richest they will leave here. Isn't it?
Golden rule, spend everything in your lifetime. Don't leave anything.
Sir, அது கஷ்டம் இப்போ லைஃப் டைம் இன்னும் முடியும் தெரியலையே. அவர் எடுத்து இல்ல இப்ப போவாத அவனுக்கு 82 வயசு தான் இது இன்னும் 10 வருஷம் இருக்குவானே எப்படி நான் 82ல ஸ்பெண்ட் பண்ணிட்டாங்க
லைஃப் டைம்.
Then எப்படி then the rest of holiday in Apollo also I have to save for.
That's an island now actually. Actually I didn't only 20 is there.
That's right. Yes.
So the 30% what it was,
about finance.
Sir, financial literacy is very compulsory in international schools. In the West, you will find it starts very early, even first standard itself. So the effect of inflation, the value of a rupee, small things. You go to rbi.org, RBI website, financial literacy in a column, cartoon characters will come and teach. Okay? And if you still want more, you can go to US Federal Reserve. You will have more content to show, maybe once they grow up a little more. So financial literacy, this is just a part of it. Like many questions are coming out. Not the credit card, should I spend? What happens? These are not part of financial literacy. How much, what will be the effect of inflation, for example? Today I'm spending this much, what will happen? What happens to my, car insurance if I don't pay, or car breaks down, or I have to buy a new car? Small things. If you start looking at, you can involve your children in those decision makings, and don't assume that you can give advice when he comes for or she comes for a new mobile alone. So you take them through, and they'll say that yes, you will keep telling your sad story, அது மாதிரி இல்லாம you objectively tell them, no, that this has happened in the economy, this is how it is happening now, rather than telling like adana hari baskiya பசங்களுக்கு அதெல்லாம் பிடிக்கும். There is one video, popular video on YouTube, Hari Baski, there is a Loyola guy. So he alone acts and in many characters. You ask your children, they will all know Hari Baski, they are school kids. So அவங்க தலையாட்டுறாங்க பாருங்க. இந்த பேர் ஏற்கனவே. So யார் கேட்டாங்க உடனே எங்க அப்பா காலத்துல இப்படி இருந்தது, எங்க தாத்தா காலத்துல அப்படி இருந்தது. Means they will run away. Then children are not going to listen to you. So keep it very objective that you are telling them for the sake of telling, they will listen and they will learn what they have to learn. Don't try to ensure that they should learn right now when you tell them about these things. They are seeing things outside, they are learning. So as a parent, if you wish, do that, or you just make them whatever you see, good things, let them see, watch, learn.
What
So,
is the 30%? What is what is the name it?
And non-discretionary. So discretionary means where non-discretionary is 50, where I cannot say yes or no, I have to spend. So 30 is on where I can say no to that spending, like eating out, no, going spending money. How much do I?
Discretion cannot be avoided. The 30% is
no, opposite. Non-discretionary where I don't have, like grocery vaangidana. I don't have my discretion to stop that spending.
Okay.
30 is I can spend. Sir, last. முடியும்போதா இது ஒன்று காமிச்சிடலாம். Yes sir, so one நீங்க first படிங்க sir. This is, you know who is Mr. Warren Buffett. Can you read from there?
On earnings?
Yes sir, நீங்க படிங்க.
Never depend on single income. Make investment to create a second source.
Yes sir, you can read on spending.
On spending, if you buy things you do not need, soon you will have to sell things you need. Father-in-law சொல்ற மாதிரி இருக்கு.
On savings, do not save what is left after spending, but spend what is left after saving.
Anga last questions. Anirban, can you read? On taking risks. Oh, risk I think मैं उनको छोड़ता हूँ. आप अगला पढ़ना investments. Yeah, you can read this one. On investment,
do not put all the eggs in one basket.
Right. Now Chandrasekhar, can you read this on taking the risk? Are you able to see from there?
Never is the depth of to go with both.
Right? Got an idea. Last one on expectations. Yes, sir. This is for you.
Honesty is a very expensive gift. Do not expect it from cheap people.
Okay. So honesty is, you will not find honest answers. You have to find honest answers for yourself. That's the idea. So spend wisely, invest wisely. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Satya. Please stay on. We have a small memo talk. Before that, I thought I would normally try to do a quick wrap-up of the session, but here it is a lot to concise in few sentences. So for me, the great takeaways are like, you have to first understand before investing, spend some time, see what are the risks, so then only you better get into it. So you know where you want to put your money, that is one. And also you covered not only the financial aspects of it, investment aspects of it, but also given touched upon many life
anecdotes.
Life lessons. I think I was trying to find out. So I request Rizwana to present the memento on behalf of PMI Chennai chapter. No, this is fine. This is fine.
Double tap. Yeah, perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you. I hope it was useful to all of you. And as I said, tips I am available on email. My email ID with Vinod and Rizwana, it's available. So I would be happy to answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Few announcements, ladies and gentlemen, few announcements from chapter side. We'll quickly do it. I know it was a bit longer session today because all your
Enthusiastic
questions.
questions.
Even